5 best friends, Emily, Sarah, Jess, Amanda and Chloe, had been planning their girls' trip for months. The cruise ship promised relaxation, endless buffets and moonlit nights. It was their last night aboard, and after a week of tropical bliss, the group decided to make it unforgettable by sneaking onto the highest deck, off-limits to passengers. As the ship swayed gently beneath the clear, starry sky, the friends giggled, climbing the stairs to the restricted area. When they reached the top, the deck was eerily quiet. No crew, no other passengers. The wind picked up, and the sound of the ocean seemed to grow louder, drowning out their laughter.
This is kind of creepy.
Sarah whispered, glancing over her shoulder.
Relax, we're making memories.
Chloe said, pulling out her phone to take pictures. The group began to explore the deck, but as they moved further, strange things started to happen. Emily was the first to notice the shadows. They seemed to move, not with the rocking of the ship, but with intent, like they were watching.
I swear I just saw someone.
Emily said, her voice tight.
Where?
Jess asked, turning her flashlight to the spot Emily pointed to. There was no one there. Just the dark expanse of the empty deck.
Come on, guys, it's just the ship's lights playing tricks,
Amanda said, though her voice wavered. Suddenly the ship's horn let out a deep, mournful blast, far too loud and too close. Everyone jumped, clutching onto each other. A low fog started rolling in across the deck, thick and unnatural.
Let's head back,
Sarah suggested nervously. As they turned to leave, they heard footsteps, slow and deliberate behind them. They turned to see a figure in the distance, its face obscured by shadows, standing by the railing, staring directly at them.
Who is that?
Chloe asked, her voice barely a whisper. The figure didn't respond. Instead, it began to walk toward them, its steps echoing across the empty deck. Panic set in, and the girls bolted for the stairs, but no matter how fast they ran, the figure always seemed to stay just behind them, the sound of its footsteps growing louder with each step. They raced down the stairwell only to find that the door they had come through was locked.
It won't open!
She cried, her voice breaking. The footsteps stopped. Turning around, the girls saw the figure standing at the top of the stairs. Slowly, it raised a hand and pointed at them. For a moment, everything went silent. Then the lights flickered and went out, plunging them into darkness. When the lights came back on, the figure was gone. But something far worse was left behind. Emily was missing. The group searched frantically, calling her name, but there was no sign of her.
You shouldn't have come here.
As they huddled together, fear tightening their throats, a low voice echoed from the shadows. Suddenly, the ship lurched violently, throwing them to the ground. The deck was no longer empty. Silhouettes of people, passengers who looked lost, confused, began to materialize, moving toward them. Their faces were pale, eyes hollow, and their mouths opened in silent screams.
Amanda screamed, trying to shove them away, but her hands passed right through them. "They're not real!" she shrieked, but they could feel the icy chill of death as the figures surrounded them.
Desperate, Jess grabbed Chloe and Sarah, dragging them toward a lifeboat hanging precariously on the side of the ship. They had no plan, just escape. As they clambered inside, the shadows seemed to pull at them, trying to drag them back.
Suddenly a voice cut through the chaos. Emily's voice, but distant, echoing. Help me, please!
Sarah turned to see Emily standing at the edge of the deck, her face twisted with fear. Without thinking, she jumped from the lifeboat and ran to her friend, but as soon as she reached her, Emily vanished into thin air.
Sarah, no! Jess screamed as the fog swallowed her whole.
The remaining 3 friends frantically cut the ropes, sending the lifeboat plummeting into the black waves below. The last thing they saw before the fog consumed the ship was the figure from the stairs standing at the railing, watching them disappear into the night. When they were rescued the next morning, they were found alone in the lifeboat, half mad with fear. The rescue crew never found, and they never found Sarah or Emily. To this day, if you sail too close to that stretch of sea. Some claim they hear voices calling from the fog, girls laughing, crying, pleading for help, and the sound of footsteps following close behind.